Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. The topic of today is the summer maintenance on TAXUS BACCATA.
Bonsai Dream.
I got this beautiful TAXUS BACCATA from a friend in south of Italy, Luigi from BONSAI do Avellino. The tree was still a raw material, and in the first 2 or 3 years of work I was putting effort on setting a very good structure, put down the branches, be able to work a little bit on the live line with selection, and with the help of my friend Will Budley, we worked on the deadwood of the tree. Now that we are more into the development and maturing phase, it's very important to understand the summer maintenance for TAXUS BACCATA. July is a very pivotal period to reset and rebalance the strength for the development of the tree. Many people don't understand how important is the maintenance of our bonsai during summer. Early summer, especially now we are in July, in middle July, is very important to reset the strength on the pads after the maturing of the new growth of spring. So what I normally do on my TAXUS, obviously every tree is different, but for example, let's talk about this tree. Is a tree in a very advanced stage of development, and what I do in spring is to just pinch, since the new shoots are immature, I pinch the stronger one, especially in the apex that tend to be the stronger part. I normally let grow a little bit more the lower branches where the energy is a little bit lower than the top. And then on this time of the year, early summer, as I said, I start working with the scissor, and I do a balanced pruning of the tree. We have different areas of the tree that we have to work in a different way. So normally the apex is the stronger part of the tree, so we have to be a little bit more aggressive. Going down, we have the central part of the tree where we have to prune and clean to get those intermediate branches rebalanced, especially when some of the top branch get stronger than the lower one, you see. So we're gonna prune more aggressively here and less this section that you can see. This section already build some volume, but this is still flat. So this means this area is weaker than this one. So we have to take away energy from here and give energy to this part. And again, the lower branches that normally we let them develop a little bit more in spring to achieve strength, energy. Now we can start pruning the outside line and a little bit the volume to also rebalance the energy between the top and the bottom branches. So we have to really understand how much important is pruning with scissor in this phase of the year. So differently from spring when we pinch using our fingers on TAXUS, now we have to use a scissor and prune the different area. And also is important to analyze all the different type of shoots, the difference between the undershoots that are weak, the intermediate one that they tend to be flat, and some of the top one, as you can see in this area, that they tend to be strong and grow almost vertical. So those shoots, they need to be pruned more than the intermediate part a little bit less, and generally we have to clean the one going down, or we have to wire them or move them up to regain strength. Generally when I do this type of work, I start from the apex and I work my way down to the lower branch, so I have the idea of how much I have to prune. After the work of pruning, I will also clean the dead wood, clean the live line, and give a little bit of resetting on some of the lines. The other part that is important to understand is the back of the tree. Normally we build the back all together, is a part that is very extended, and there is normally a lot of strength here. So we have to be also aggressive in the back part of the tree. So now let's do the physical work. It's important to prune almost 2/3 of the very strong shoots on the top of the tree. Doing that, the tree will have the time until autumn to rebuild the strength from the inner area and produce a lot of new buds, so it can keep maturing and getting more dense. And in the meantime, doing this pruning now, we can allow more sun to reach the inner part of the foliage, so we don't have any dieback from especially the apical part, and we don't reach that the tree every year is more and more, extended, and we rather work for the maturity and for the density of the tree. So here I have kind of the two type of flesh that TAXUS produce. This we can call the vertical one. So shoots that from the inner part of the foliage, they take off and they start creating volume. Especially we can find a lot of them in the apical part of the tree. And this is what we call the lateral one. So differently one from the other, this has needles, foliage all around, we can say 360 degrees. This one is flat underneath and it has just foliage on top because it's used to grow like that. So when the pads mature and we can start having a nice structure, a nice wood structure on the pads, the final goal is to have all these type of vertical shoots that they can build beautiful pads. So time by time, and allowing the tree to mature and get stronger by pruning and controlling the strength, the final goal is to have all shoots like this that we're gonna prune all the time and get the pads nice and mature. Now that I took care of pruning the apex, that is, as I said, the stronger part, I work on the back of the tree. You see, here also I have many areas with a lot of vegetation tending to go up. So I'm gonna prune this area completely. This, as I said, generally is another very strong part of the tree. Also because you can see the tree from the side now. This line of depth is more flat than the frontal one. So obviously all this foliage has much direct light, so it can develop nicer and stronger. Differently from the front of the tree, that is this one, where we have a descending line a little bit more deeper. So generally, if we let and allow this area to grow, it starts shading the underneath and this area get weaker. So the type of pruning we do here is very different from the type of pruning we do here. Here more or less all the strength is the same as we had for the apex. For the front, differently, we have to choose the different area and be able to understand which one need to grow, which one need to be pruned, and how much we're gonna prune the different area. So now the next part will be pruning this section. Now the top of the tree and the back of the tree are pruned. Next step will be taking care of the central area of the tree. Basically we have 1, 2, 3 and 4 green masses. You can see from what I said before, because this line is much inclinated than the line of the back, the vegetation on the top here is much stronger than this one. If we don't prune these two areas, they will get much stronger, and these they will be shaded and get weaker. So I need to push these two parts in almost to the vegetation of last year, and then let grow this area. So until autumn, with the prosecution of summer, these two areas will be on equal strength, okay? And then the last operation will be taking care of the two lower branches, left and right. Now you can see from the side of the tree how the descending line from the apex down to the front of the tree is more uniform. I hardly prune this area, so it's not gonna shade this part anymore. I haven't pruned this part, so now the two parts can rebalance, and for late autumn they will be almost the same strength, and they can keep maturing in the good way. Now from this front image you can see how I was pruning this area and this area, and I haven't pruned this part. Now we have to understand the two lower branches. So this area to me seems nice and strong, so I will be pruning more. I can already start building a nice volume, nice maturity, but this area is still very weak for my point of view, so I will only reset a little bit the line and hardly do any pruning to let this part grow more and get more strong. This is very important to rebalance these two lower branches as the end of the pruning work for this TAXUS. When we do this type of work, it's also very important to be able to quickly understand all the different type of elongation shoots, so we know how much we want to prune away from them to be able to reset the energy also in the little areas of the tree. We have always to get in mind that we are working on a bonsai, but we have to focus in the different area because every one of them is different from another. Branches are different and they get stronger or weaker, and being able to understand that will allow us to make our trees more mature. Now I have only this branch left. So, as I said before, because I consider this branch a little bit weaker than all the rest of the tree, and especially the other left branch of the front, left lower branch, what I'm gonna do will be just reset a little bit the line, wire some of the shoot to rebuild a little bit of volume, and don't prune this branch at all. Eventually I will do some pruning and some resetting in autumn before winter, or either let the branch go Next spring, let the branch grow and eventually at that time reset with some pinching and later on with some pruning. But for the moment, according to all the work I did, I prefer to let this branch free to grow, free to stay, just reset a little bit the line with some wire. So I just finished resetting a little bit this pad, putting a couple of pieces of wire to realign and lift up some of the branches so this pad can keep building strength. Now the pruning work is done. I hope you understand all the little tips and tricks to keep maturing our TAXUS BACCATA. Now with the help of my student Enrico, we're gonna little clean the dead wood, give lime sulfur, and then the tree can go back to the museum. And here we are with the final product of the pruning work. It's not a refinement, in my opinion, in this period of the year, also because it's still very hot. It's not necessary to put tons of wire to all our trees. More, the maintenance work with the scissor is very important to remove and rebalance the strength of the trees, and I hope I was able to explain you all the way through the entire process. Now the tree is nice and clean, it can keep maturing, and we can bring it back to the museum. Thank you so much for following this episode, and thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you so much for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed. And as you could see, the wiring is one of the most important techniques when we do bonsai. So if you want to get better on your wiring, you can purchase my book, and there is a complete article when I explain all the secret about this technique, and you can get your wiring better. So send me an email for more information, and thank you again.